you only have one shot to make a memorable first impression, right? You don't have that second opportunity. If you meet someone for the first time and you don't make that impression on them, especially on social media, they're not going to come back, 30 days down the road and say, well, let me see if they've updated their profile and they'll make an impression on me this time. It doesn't work that way, right? You have that one shot.
I think it's important to understand a lot of people are cutting marketing expense, and we may need to trim it, but you can't cut it out completely. 89% of marketers use Facebook in their brand and marketing efforts. 83% are surveying consumers use that platform. 66% say they like or follow a brand or a platform. If I look at the people that are in my Facebook group, Instagram, on my LinkedIn page, they become fans first. We have to nurture them. We have to create those relationships, and then they become consumers. Fans are not consumers. Fans are not consumers. We have to nurture those relationships. By the third quarter of 2019, 2.5 million active users. Business isn't shut down, y'all. Business isn't shut down. It's how you're doing business. Let's pivot. How you're doing business, let's pivot. Instagram has 1 billion active users. You don't have to be in front of people. We're in front of people right now. When you look at that, we've got 6 pages of people on the call, right? Yeah, how can I get a little tiny piece of that billion? I just want you to have a little tiny piece of the billion. How many of you want just a little tiny piece of the billion, right? Yeah. So among those users, 90% of those users follow a business. Follow a business. Make sure your content is relevant. Don't talk about something like I was talking to a client. They're like, I'm going to talk about making money. We can talk about that, but making money in these times, let's sexy it up to go, how are we doing that? Don't just be conscious and cognitive of what's the listening of the consumer right now. What's the fears that they're playing with, right? Instagram continues to host the most popular influence marketing. 89% of marketers says social media is the most important influencer platform. Each of you on this call is an influencer. Ann Landstrom, influencer in photography, right? One of the most powerful photographers that you can hire, right? When you do that, your brand says everything. What is your brand saying about you? Right? 78% of Instagram posts are effective when they're in their Insta stories. So it's using video. Matt talked about video on Monday, right? If you didn't get Matt's content, I need you to go back and go look at Monday. Watch these videos over and over and over again till come to your words, till Matt's words become your words, till Allie's words become yours. Repetition is the power, right? 660 million registered users on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a professional platform. Your same marketing strategy is not going to work on Instagram as it is on LinkedIn. It's 2 strategies. You have to have a different strategy, right? You're looking at professionals. 90 million of these are senior level influencers. If you want to work with corporations, nonprofits, your marketing platform will be LinkedIn. So let's look at your strategy. Go, am I deploying the right strategy for my market? Who do I want? Know that the corporate market from contact to contract will be a little slower. Contact to contract is a little slower. So what that means for me as a professional, I have to have way more leads in the pipeline. Does that make sense? You got to have way more people, being way more conversations with LinkedIn people than you would an entrepreneur or just a consumer. But look at 90 million users. Business is not closed down now. Business more than ever needs a voice. They need an influencer. They need someone holding the flag, holding the charge, right? The LinkedIn platform can be effective in lead generation and customer acquisition. It's 277%, look at that number, more effective than Facebook generating leads, because Facebook is fans. Facebook is fans. There's nothing, are not consumers. Do you see the difference? Like, that was a huge eye-opener for me to look at, where are my consumers, where are my fans? Fans don't pay your bills. Fans stroke your ego. I need to have both. Right? See, I got ego like everybody else. We need both, right? Inside of looking that. So my our guest. I just share with you who Natalie is and what she's created, because Natalie Klun has been in our tribe for 7 years. Natalie, 7 years. Where are you at? Wave so I can see you. Can't see. So 7 years she's been in our tribe. There you are. There you are. I found you.
I had to figure out how to unmute myself.
The little box. I'm like, where's my girl? So she is a GLP grad student of GLP. GLP gave her direction in where she was and where she was going, and giving the confidence to create her dream business. It gave her a blueprint for her business. It helped her understand the framework of building a business, not owning a job, right? She transitioned from being a real estate agent that was stuck in a position to creating a global impact across the world. It to create multiple revenue streams. So why don't you say it, Natalie? I think that would be more effective than me just bragging about you.
Yeah. No, for me, GLP, I had a real estate business at the time, and it was tied to a very cyclical industry. And during my 15 years in that industry, it cycled 3 times. So I always felt like I was picking up the pieces and rebuilding, kind of like what we're experiencing right now. Like everything feels out of control. And I said to myself, I want a business that no matter where I'm at in the world, I can run my business online or offline. I want to be able to have contractors versus employees, because at the time I had employees, and so that's a big burden to carry, and I felt a big responsibility. So I hung on to that business longer than I should have. And I didn't want to be limited by demographics, geographics, anything like that. So GLP helped me create the business that I have now. And every day I wake up and I'm like, thank God I am completely virtual, because I couldn't imagine being where I was at 5 years ago with what's happening now. And now I'm very passionate and driven to help people get as virtual as possible. So I owe all of that to Miss Susie and GLP.
Yay! You eliminated old revenue to put in new revenue streams, right? Created 2 more revenue streams. It's in the process of building 2 more. Like once you understand the system of business, you can do anything. It's a system versus going, oh, I have to be this woman star. Is no, you just need to understand the system, right? When I look at what I've done for every business that I have been coached, and for every business that I've launched in Star, which I've launched 9 businesses, 7 of those businesses were multi-million-dollar businesses. You don't accident. That makes sense. I'm not a one-hit one. The 2 that were not multi-million-dollar businesses, those were expensive hobbies, and I know what the hell I'm doing. Right? How many of you know that that feeling? Like I didn't even know that I didn't even know that I didn't know what I was doing. I had relationships. I wanted a partnership. Like I could do it myself. Can anybody relate? Like need somebody else to help me. But that was sabotage, having people. You are a genius, Jill. Like you have so much gift to offer the world. So when you understand the foundation and the strategy of building a business, building a strategy, building a brand, which that's what we're going to talk about today, is your personal brand and what you're up to and what you're doing. So I'm going to turn it over to Natalie so Natalie can share with us really how do we leverage in this economy, right, in this marketplace. She's done it for herself, and she's done it through the strategy she's going to give you today. So let's give a big round of applause to my girl Natalie Klun. Woo-hoo!
Thank you, everybody. No, like I mentioned, I'm really passionate right now about helping and supporting people shift over to being more virtual and using all of the tools that we have access to. And I think back when I started my sales career, which was over 20 years ago, I think about the resources that I had access to compared to the resources that we have today. And thank God we have these resources, right? We have social media, we have Zoom, we have all these ways that we can now connect with each other and we can use to build our business. So I took inventory of how I wanted to show up and how I wanted to serve people and help people in the world. And my business is called Rebel Influencer because I'm really rebelling against what this whole influencer thing is right now, right? Everyone's saying, oh, you got to have 1 million followers, or you got to do this, or you got to do that. These kind of out of reach goals that the majority of us aren't going to necessarily hit, but we all are influencers in our own way. If you help one person, influenced one person's life, you are an influencer, right? So how do we really embrace individually using our skills, tools, and knowledge to influence and make a difference in the world that we all want to make, right? So I really evaluated all the tools and said, okay, how do I help my fellow influencers show up and make a difference in the world? And really focused on social media. And what I find with social media is they are our best network building assets that we have access to. You really think about, we can connect with anyone in the world through social media. I have friends in Ireland that I Zoom with on a regular basis that I met through social media because we're in the same business, we have the same audience, and we're supporting each other. And we wouldn't have those opportunities if it wasn't for social media. But what I want to help people do is how to use social media in a way every single day that cultivates relationships, that connects you with those who you can serve in your business. And so the big focus that I have in my business is helping you optimize your social profile. Because you think about it, you only have one shot to make a memorable first impression, right? You don't have that second opportunity. If you meet someone for the first time and you don't make that impression on them, especially on social media, they're not going to come back, 30 days down the road saying, well, let me see if they've updated their profile and they'll make an impression on me this time. It doesn't work that way, right? You have that one shot. So you want to make sure that your profile is fully optimized and it tells the story of who you are in the world, what you're up to, why someone would want to connect and get to know you. And I put that at the very forefront. So first, optimizing your social profile, having it really clear that when someone goes on your profile, who it is, what you're doing and how you can serve, right? And then you want to start using these tools as networking. Now, I know Susie offers a lot of great value, and I know Matt was talking about video the other day on how to produce content and put content out there. But I want to share something with you today that will help you become so top of mind with your network and that will support your content posting efforts. And that is actually networking on these platforms, right? So how do you network on Facebook? How do you network on Instagram? How do you network on LinkedIn? Like, LinkedIn is definitely a place to spend time on if you are in the spirit of networking, right? So networking means, like, think about it. You know how much time and energy goes into creating your content and putting your content out there. And how many of you got to raise your hand and share with me, how many of you created content, posted it, you were so excited, and then nothing? Nobody liked it. Nobody watched. You had like 3 people watch your video. One of them was you. And the other 2 people were your family or your best friend, right? Like,
Hi, I'm Natalie Klun.
It's so, because especially if you're doing video, like Matt talked about video. If video is challenging for you and you really put yourself out there and you share a video and nobody does anything with it, it makes you kind of like second guess yourself, like, oh, maybe video isn't my thing, which no, video is your thing. But if you do what I'm going to share with you today, that will help what I call invoke the law of reciprocity when you start putting out content. So what you want to start looking for is people in your network who are putting out content themselves. They've put that video out there. They've posted something. They've shared something. Go in there. The biggest compliment you can give to a content creator is engagement. Comment on it. Ask them a question. Send them a message that says, hey, I watched your video and this was my takeaway. Be really thoughtful in your comments, right? Like it, share it. The best compliment you can ever give someone. Now you think about it, if you're doing that, you're spending 30 minutes a day interacting with other people's content, very likely what's going to happen is, first of all, they're going to be like, oh, wow, like Susie, what's Susie been up to? I'm going to go over and check out what's going on Susie's page, right? This is why it's so important to make sure your profiles are optimized, because now you're driving people, you're sending people to come over to see what you're doing. And this is where the law of reciprocity comes into play, because you're interacting with the content that they've put their heart and soul into, and they say, oh, hey, there's this video. I'm going to go in and return the favor, right? So these are ways, these are little hacks that you can get visibility on your content, but it's like, it's a two-way street. And I think that this is the misconception that some people have had with social media, is they look at it as it's a one-way street. I produce content, I put content out there, and there we go. Oh, nobody's liking it. Well, Facebook must not work anymore. No, 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 no. These are social networks meant for connecting, engaging, having conversations. And if you really start thinking about your content that you're creating, like one of my favorite things to do if you ever get stuck with trying to come up with ideas for video or something like that, go into a Facebook group, find a question that you know you can knock it out of the park and answer. Take that question, go make a video about it, and share it out with your network, right? And then from that video, take that and create a text conversation post and then share that. And that way you can really start getting a feel for the conversations that people are having in your network and how you can show up and provide value and answer their questions. So that's just a little trick that I use. I do that all the time. I'm always in Facebook group like, oh, I can answer that question. And then I go and I do my video and I share it. So, but it's a two-way street. How can you go and support other people's content, commenting, asking them questions, engaging with them? And if you're doing that on a regular basis, they're going to go and see what you're up to. They're going to start commenting on your stuff. They're going to start sharing it with their community. If someone is sharing something in your network that you feel your community could benefit from, ask to do a quick interview with them on Zoom and get their insight and then share it with your network. Likely they're going to return the favor. So really look at it as opportunities to network, build relationships, get to know people. Right now is a good opportunity to check in with people. How are you doing? What's going on? That's how you become top of mind. That really bypasses that whole mindset that you just got to be creating content, posting it, and sitting back and waiting for the likes and shares to come rolling in, because that's not going to happen. You've got to be the engine behind that, connecting and cultivating those relationships and really making sure that you are accessible, that you see them, that you hear them, and that you're also contributing to the conversation. What you want to do, what you want to think about, how you want to think about your profiles as business building assets is you want to look at it like you think about it when you go out networking. You're going out networking as a person, right? Like it's you. You're not like a walking business card. You are a person looking to connect with other people. And this is what we want to do. And when we consider our profiles, our social profiles, but on our personal page, we want to have a good combination of this is who I am personally, but my business, my career, what I do to serve and how I am as an influencer is a big part of who I am, right? So you think about it, when you're going out and you're interacting with your network and you're commenting and you're liking and you're sharing and you're engaging with people, the place that they are going to land first is your personal profile, right? They're going to come to that first. So you want to make sure that your personal profile connects with them. Like you'll see at the top of my page, that's a picture. I cut 4 inches off my hair all by myself the other day.
I know. I saw that. I'm like,
it's driving me crazy. So quarantine haircuts. Okay. So I have a quote, and this quote to me, I feel really is the emphasis of who I am as it personally and professionally. So you want to look at your personal profile as a way, like this is your first opportunity for people to connect with you and get to know you personally. People do business with people, right? So here we are, people being people on social media. This is a quote that I know resonates with a lot of people that I work with. They're all, purpose-driven entrepreneurs. They want to make a difference. So having a quote or something that connects with somebody that they're like, oh, we now have this in common. Like that's a good recommendation, because what you want to be careful of on your personal page is being over the top business, because we've all connected with those people. They're over the top business. And the next thing you know, they're like blowing up your inbox with like sales pitches. And you'd want to make a good first impression. You have 3 seconds to make a first impression with somebody. And then you want to use all the tools on your personal page that allows people to see what you're doing professionally. Now, a little hack, if you see here where under my workplace, I do profile makeovers to help you stand out at, and then it links to my business page. Facebook will allow you to, when you go into your workplace and you edit that, you can put in, instead of like a title, you can put in like speaking to what it is that you do. I call it your first impression statement, right? If someone says, what do you do? I say, I help optimize social profiles to make a memorable first impression. The goal with that is to pique people's curiosity, get them thinking, oh gosh, like, I want to know more about that, like, so you want to really think along those lines. Facebook can be a little sensitive on some of the words that you use, so you just play with it, and then you link it to your business page. So your front lines, you're out there, you're networking, you're engaging, people come to your personal page, you make it you're very clear who it is that you are in your business and how you serve, and then you give them all of the tools to connect with you there. So you link to your business page, you link to your website, you can see I've got all my links to all my other social media. So the business page is, then you come over, this is where you can be all about business, right? And I actually just did a video the other day on why you should have a business page on Facebook. Everybody says, oh, Facebook doesn't work anymore. There's not enough people on, I don't get enough engagement. And it's because they're just taking the one-sided approach. Like this is a two-way street, remember? So your business page is basically your Facebook website, because Facebook wants you to stay on Facebook. They don't want you going over to your website. They want you to stay on Facebook. So really look at your business page as your Facebook website. So you want it to be very clear who you are as a business person. I'm a big fan of kind of taking the personal branding route. Like, people try to get cheeky and come up with like clever names for their business, but you want it to be easy for people to find you as a person / this is who you are in your business. So really making sure that your name is part of your business page, so people can find you easily in that way. And then you want your business page to be very clear on who it is that you are. And like I said, I use what is called a first impression statement. I use, like, in my image here, you can see it's called my hi, I am statement. So it's kind of like that third person version that really tells people who it is that, who you are and how you serve. So this is the opportunity to fully tell the story of what you do with your business. Now, Facebook gives you options to choose what kind of page to have. There is a business page option, or there's a service page option. And I say, if you are a service provider, or even if you sell a product, do the service option, because this allows you to put your services at the very top of your business page. So someone can click on it and they can see exactly what you do, or what services you provide. Now, I'm a big fan of having a conversation, being accessible. So when I do profile makeovers, and I have a done-for-you service that I do, and I'm also creating a version where people can do it themselves, like a DIY version, because I've had a lot of requests for that. But what I want people to reach out to me and send me a message. So Facebook allows you to have that that little box right there. Yeah, you just have the cursor on it, Susie. Right underneath where it has my website, it says send message, the big blue thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
so
the big blue thing?
Yeah, the blue button, right? Okay. So you can have different ways that you can have it go to your website, you can have it do whatever, but I like to have it be able to send me a message, because if someone is considering working with me, I would really like to get to know, like, what are their goals? What are they doing? And this is what I mean by being accessible. So if you are putting your profile summary together, you're putting your services on your page, and you have a call to action, I like to use what is called a soft call to action, which is, hey, send me a message. Let's connect. Let's talk. Like, that's what I had to do back in the day when I was in sales. I actually had to get on the phone and talk to people. I actually had to go have meetings. And we're now in this social media world where we're like, oh, no, I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want them to be my client. No, it doesn't work that way.
Right. We still have to talk. We still have to dial for dollars, right? People are always surprised. Like, what do I need to do? Get on the phone. You have to call people. You have to talk to people. We can't hide behind our computers and build a business.
Yeah, message them, check in with them. Like, one thing that LinkedIn has that I love is when you can send a message to someone, you can only do it on your phone, but there's an option to send a video message to them. So what I love to do when I connect with someone new, I do a quick video and say something personal, like, hey, I really took time to look at your profile, and find some way that you have common ground with them and send them a quick message, whether it's a video, whether it's a written message. The whole goal is to start a conversation, because people are going to do business with people that take time to get to know them. You're building trust with them. You can't not build trust with someone without, in some way, shape, or form, having a conversation with them. And sometimes your conversation with them will be your post. This is where you're posting and you're putting content out there is valuable, because you connect with someone and there's this getting to know you dance that you're going through. And if they're watching you and you're engaging with what they're putting out there and initiating conversations with them, that also in a way is a conversation, and oftentimes will lead to, hey, let's get on the phone, or hey, let's jump on Zoom, or hey, one time we could actually meet for coffee. Maybe that we can do that again, hopefully in the very near future. But it's just getting people in that mindset of this is a two-way street. This is positioning your profiles in a way that it makes that first impression that people want to stay and get to know you and have a conversation with you and get on the phone with you. We all know what it feels like to connect with someone on social media and then get hit up with a bunch of sales messages. That's icky. That don't feel good. No one likes that. We don't want to do that.
No, we don't want to do that. No. So I didn't see anyone put their name in the chat that they wanted you to look at their profile. Are y'all scared? I'm scared. So I'll do Jerry. I saw Jerry's hand. So I'm going to go to Facebook first, right?
Right. Yep. So give me a little context. What does Jerry do?
Jerry, take yourself off mute.
Hey.
Hi.
Okay, my name is Gary, like a guy.
Gary?
Oh, sorry, Gary.
Wrong, but it's okay. It's okay. So I have 2 child care centers, and I own a consulting coaching agency where I do training and speaking and coaching.
Okay.
So one thing is that my personal Facebook page is not public.
Oh, you're
okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. One of the things you want to consider when you're putting yourself out there and using your social media as a means to connect with people that would, drive your business is you definitely want to make it public. You want to consider connecting with the people in your business that I call them, they're my people, right? They're your peers, whether they're supporting and working with you, and they share the same mission, or they're people that could benefit from the services that you provide. So I would definitely make it public for sure.
A lot of the stuff I still make it public, but it's still some stuff that's I don't. But
the good thing about Facebook is that on your individual posts, you can specify, I want this just for my friends. I want this even for just a specific person, or I want it, if it's got the little globe, I want it for everybody. So if your personal profile is public, but you have certain posts that you would like to keep specific to just the people that you're connected to, that just means that they can't share the post and just anyone could see it.
Okay. On this one is the link to my business page.
Here.
Up two links. No, I'm not really interested in that one, but the Gary Davis agency. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one thing that, and this is a personal decision, right? Where you want to say, okay, especially because you have 2 businesses, you've got 2 businesses, and there absolutely is a way you could build your network around both businesses. But what I find is building one out first, and then how do you then come around and duplicate that for the second one? So really considering which one do you want to lead with when you're out networking and you're connecting with people. Which one do you want to put at the front line? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. This one. Okay,
perfect. So what I would say on your headline or your header image is similar to what I did on mine, is what's interesting about our profiles is they're about us, but we really want to make it about them, about who it is that we want to connect with, right? So how do we do that? How do we make it about us, but make it about them, right? You know, and it's like when you do your profile summary and feel, all of you feel free to go and like check out my profiles and look and see how I did it, because there's a lot of layers to it. But the profile summary is that way that you can connect with people to get them to self-identify, establish yourself as the expert, as the authority, and then show them the solution or the call to action that you want them to take. So it really is a formula. And you're kind of wanting to do that same thing with your header image. That's why I like to use the hi, I am statement. So you can introduce yourself, but then it go into who it is that you're serving and how it is that you serve. Like that's what's going to get them to stay and explore your page. Where once again, we've got 3 to 7 seconds to make a memorable first impression. If someone comes on your profile and something doesn't catch them, I learned this from Susie, always lead with what's in it for me, like answering that question in their mind, because everyone's thinking, what's in it for me? So if your page is answering that question, what's in it for them, they're going to stay. They're going to want to learn more about you. They're going to be curious about who it is and what you're up to. So that would be my number one thing I would do on your page, is create an image that has an hi, I am statement. And feel free to go to my profile and look at how that's worded, and then create an image similar to that.
Okay.
But you've got like, I see you've got like all the service. So you already have a service page. I love that, because some people just think, oh, I want the business page, but you can't list your services if it's just that theme. I guess when I mean like it's a theme that you choose and it's in the settings on Facebook. So yes, and you've got lots of videos. That's great. You're putting content out there. One thing that a lot of people ask me all the time, they say, well, should I put my business stuff on my personal page? And Facebook, like they don't want you using your personal page as a business page. But if you're creating value-based content, you're not like sell, but it's really truly value-based content, and your business is a big part of who you are. Like, don't hesitate to share some of that content that you're creating for your business page on your personal page and say, hey, this is something that I'm working on in my business, and I hope that it serves some of you over here. And so I like to definitely use the two to complement each other.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was
the color in your backdrop. That I want to paint my room that color now.
Awesome. So I want to hear from a couple of you, like what was the value of Natalie coming on? So raise your hand so I can see you, the value. So Diane is first, Maxine is second, and Anne will be third. So Diane.
Well, first of all, thanks, Susie, and thank you, Natalie. The first Speak and Write that I ever went to, Natalie, you did a breakout session that I went to. So it's good to see you again. That was probably like in 2017. So yeah. Yeah. So anyway, one thing that I really liked that you said is that it's okay to like put your post on your regular personal Facebook page, because I don't know if I just don't know how to do things, but I have to put them sometimes. Like if I'm doing anything from my phone, I have to put it on my personal page in order to put it on my business page. My phone won't let me go to my business page to download something from it. And so sometimes I feel like I want to shrink back because I don't want my friends to think I'm always trying to push my business on my personal page. But if I don't put it out there, and also I have to put it as public content, or I'm not able to share it on my business page. So I just to hear from you, like you're the expert, saying that it's okay to do that. I appreciate that. So
yeah, it's really a combination. Like you think about it, your business is part of who you are, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's that combination and that balance of personal and business. That's why I say when you first look at your personal profile, like where does my personality come through? And my business is a big part of who I am. And I know I'm connected with a lot of people that would benefit from it. You just want to have that balance of personal and business, and you don't want to be in sales mode on your personal page, right? If you've got something that you're promoting or you're offering. You can say, hey, everybody, I'm really excited about this. I'd love your support. Jump over to my business page. But you want to really have that balance for sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I want to say, Diane, and all of us, don't apologize who you are, right? You're a badass. Like, I think your people have to start to know who you are. My family didn't really start knowing who I was until Facebook became really public. They're like, oh my God, who are you? You know, so don't apologize for who you are, right? And don't shrink, don't play small so other people feel big. They're just not the right people.
Yeah.
And it's okay. There's seasons for everything, right? There's people that come into your life for a reason and you learn something. There's people that come into your life for a season, and then there's people that are in your life for a lifetime. Right. So realize, what season am I in? Right. How am I leveraging this relationship? Is this relationship still filling my cup? Right. I know we fill people's cups, but sometimes they don't fill our cup back. Yep. So I want you to look at, maybe it's time to upgrade.
Yes. Friend upgrade. But yeah. Thank you for that, Susie. Once I kind of just realized I have to put this stuff on my personal page, I started getting so many great comments from people because they didn't understand what I did. They would look at my lifestyle and they would say, I don't know what you do, but I wish I was doing it.
Right.
Well, and I always say, make your focus on the ones that you can help, that you can have an influence on. Don't let the ones that you're not sure, or that, they're going to be critical. Don't cater to those. Cater to those that you could have an impact on, or that you could have an influence on, because you never know. You never know, what one post or one message or one thing can make a difference. Because I know for myself, when I was transitioning in my business and I had some personal things that I was transitioning through, it was everyday conversations that people were having on social media, or videos that people were posting, that really got me through those times. And so you just never know, and focus on those people. Don't focus on those who are being critical. And if someone is super critical about what you're doing, like Susie said, question, do you even want them in your world? Probably not.
Right. So we have a couple. I'm going to come to our next people, but I just want to share. I know you're not reading them. Matt said I can implement things immediately. Right. Sarah said that what was valuable for her was the question, how can I use your Facebook page? What's in it for the audience? Right. How do you really speak to that? Yeah. I saw some from Halise. Halise said, even though I connect with a lot of people, I realize that all the people who are connecting with me that I don't know, and I can thank them and see how that we can make a bigger difference together, right, and creating that global movement. So who was two? I know Maxine was one. Who is the next one?
I am.
Okay.
Maxine, you want me to talk?
Yes, please.
Hello. Hello. Oh my gracious, this is so fantastic, because I love the questions that Natalie had given us when you're looking at your profile. Who are you? How do you optimize it? What are you doing? How do you serve? Because I know my Facebook page does not answer hardly any of those questions now. So that was a big aha moment. And then the other thing is to look at your Facebook as your website. And it's so important that you give that information. And I did not look at it like that. I always looked at it as it's my personal. I don't want to give too much personal information, but I'm the opposite. I give too much business information on my personal page. So therefore, they're not having an opportunity to truly know who I am. Yeah. And so right. I also like, the last thing was, I like the fact that she said, look at someone else's information and curate it. Let them know what you appreciate about them, share it, like it, the whole works, because everyone likes to be recognized for what they're good at doing. So thank you, Natalie, for all these great tips.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it invokes the law of reciprocity. It's like, you think about it, what you put out is what you get back. And if you're acknowledging and cheering people on and celebrating people and getting value from people, that's going to come back around to you as well. So that was... yeah, I love that. Thank you for that being one of your highlights. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Who's next?
Susie, I'm not next, but could I say something?
Sure.
I was just taking down some notes as she was going, and I hope this is okay. I kind of put give, support, receive. First, give them your content. then support them with theirs by liking and commenting and sharing and talking to them, and then receive as they will come back to you and return the favor. So I think that taking those steps, that was such a great point for you to teach today. I think it's awesome.
Oh, good. Thank you. That made my day.
Awesome. Give Natalie a big round of applause. Big round of applause. So Natalie, we want to give some homework. So what's our homework?
Homework. Oh my goodness. Go on your profiles and, make sure that they tell the story of who you are, and make it easy for people to take the next steps. If you're out there and you're sharing and providing value, like make it really clear on your personal page. So maybe let's focus on our personal profile. Like, it's telling the story of what you're doing. Make sure that the steps are easy to get to your business page, to get to your website, get to your other social media. Maximize all of the tools that you can use on that page. And feel free to look at mine. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
Awesome. And then Megan you can find her on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, to support her, and you can message her because she'll message you back, right? I love it. People will message me. Paige does this to me a lot. Is this really you? I'm like, yes, girl, it's really me. So making sure that you are communicating back. Walker, I see you.
Yes, I just have a quick statement, something that was so valuable, and maybe it'll resonate with others, that Natalie said. I'm just starting this process. Well, I've had a social page for a long time as a performer, but the engagement process has always been so just unclear. And how much personal, how much professional, how much looks braggous, how much looks, how do I show people my heart without, it being, 6,500 dudes coming on and being, weird. As women, we deal with that, right? So we get like, oh, what's that? And we, or I don't want people to think that there's just so much I'm not sure, I don't do, and she really outlined how to look at it from a objective perspective to help us see it as a personal but professional and authentic space to share that website, connection. And I just am blown away by what you shared, Natalie, because it has really opened up. Even I'm working with a social media manager right now, and it's making me look at trying to understand even more how to connect with the people on my page, and how to, when you're in the state, often we get overwhelmed and we forget to go and engage with the people that are on our page. And that was so huge for me to hear you say that, the reciprocity, because I'm a reciprocity person. And when you said it, I was like, oh my God, I've been a narcissist, because not intentionally, but I've been like trying to get my page right and trying to do this and promoting a book and all this crap. And it's like, oh my gosh, just set 30 or 45 minutes of, that's what I love to do more than anything is connect and talk to people. Obviously, here I go. But the reality is that I haven't been doing it because I get so caught up in the technical side, trying to make sure it's all right. So thank you for not just sharing so much technical jewels and nuggets, but also reminding of that personal sharing, engagement, connection is the foundation for all of this. So thank you. Mwah.
Yes. Very powerful.
I want to kind of speak to that really quick, because we get so caught up in it needing to look a certain way, it needs to be perfect, and I need to get a graphic designer, and I need to get a social media manager, and I need to do this. And it's like, oh my gosh, no, because it's taking you energetically out of it, right? Do a test. Try this. This will be another homework. Do a personal post of something that you're doing, like with a picture of you, or something that is you, right? Like like when I cut my hair the other day, I was like just joking around, and I was like, I posted it, and I've had so many people interact on that post, right? And I posted it on LinkedIn. I was like, what skills are you adding to your profile? I cut my hair, like play with it. Do that kind of post, and then do a pretty over-the-top graphic inspirational quote. See which one gets the most interaction, and then you'll see that it's the personal one, and then let that be your driving force. How can you mix your message in with you, and you create that kind of content? And there's not a social media manager in the world that can do that for you. You can do it for yourself. And that's where people are going to connect with you, and they're going to feel you through the screen, the phone, whatever, right? So just play with it, and you'll see real quick which ones get the most interaction.